People sometimes ponder why INFJs always have a wealth of knowledge to share in in-depth talks. They ponder why they can consistently outperform the expectations of their bosses at work and flourish in the classroom. Here are 10 explanations for why an INFJ is constantly one step ahead of others. 1. They take a position for an issue. INFJs frequently believe that the subject at hand is worthy of fighting for when they hear something in the news that touches a nerve deep inside of them. This is why, despite what the rest of the world thinks, they'd prefer to be proactive, voice their ideas, and stand up for a cause. People may believe INFJs overstate the gravity of their situations and are overly ambitious in their intentions. But from the INFJ's point of view, there is nothing more rewarding than standing up for a cause, even if it doesn't directly affect them. Whether battling to eradicate prejudice, improve failing educational systems, or defend the rights of animals, INFJs identify what drives them and devote themselves to those conflicts. Do you appreciate fighting for a cause as an INFJ? If so, you may learn a ton about the topics you care about in general thanks to this important sense of urgency. 2. They pay attention intently. INFJs are more open to hearing other people's stories than the bulk of people are, which is another reason why they learn more than the general population. Instead than concentrating just on oneself, they typically seek to learn from other people's experiences. Does this imply that individuals who vent on INFJs also reap benefits from doing so? Yes, kids do learn fresh views and ideas from people with various economic levels, educational backgrounds, and familial backgrounds. Thanks to people who open up to them and share their beliefs, ideologies, and tales, they broaden their horizons and become more receptive to new ideas. INFJs will delve further into people's narratives as they detect their reactions and emotions along the road, rather than waiting for their chance to speak to share their experiences. 3. They have empathy skills. INFJs are good listeners, but they also try to see things from other people's points of view. People's emotions are perceived by them for what they are, not for what they think they might be. They also perceive emotions in others depending on how they are expressed, rather than how they are perceived. INFJs are able to fully sympathize with people they don't know because of this. They are also capable of feeling sympathy for persons they oppose and despise. The INFJ's understanding and viewpoint will then grow from there. They can get knowledge from folks whose work environments, families, and upbringing are very unlike from their own. INFJs are aware of the value of setting limits, though. They may absorb feelings and thoughts without being persuaded if they have clear limits. They can converse with someone who is emotionally unstable without losing their own tranquility. In other words, they can observe people's emotions without taking them in. Are INFJs capable of setting limits while empathizing? 4. They meditate while alone. INFJs utilize meditation as a potent technique to exercise their judgment and investigate their ideas, so they put it into everyday practice. When things get difficult or their calendars get really busy, INFJs hold onto their meditation practice. This routine is a must, not a luxury. Their existence depends on this weapon. Despite the fact that the world is too harsh for their soft, profound nature to handle, they are unbreakable with the appropriate mindset. This is their way of studying or reflecting on every moment that may have unintentionally affected their lives when events were happening quickly. INFJs have the potential to develop their emotional maturity and mental toughness through meditation. 5. They are aware of what their limiting thoughts are. People have been prevented from improving in life by their restricting views. These are some important issues that have prevented them from achieving their objectives and fulfilling their ambitions. INFJs are no better than that, though. Some people may have limiting ideas that they have carried with them throughout their life, making them doubt their talents and potential. Despite this, INFJs are able to recognize harmful ideas, overcome them, and replace them with healthier ones. They don't stay with them forever, they separate from them. From that point on, they won't think they're ever too young, too old, or unexperienced to realize their aspirations. They explain these stereotypes and let them out into the open. Have you listed all of your limiting beliefs already? 6. They make thankfulness a daily habit. INFJs are adept at expressing their gratitude for all the positive encounters that have come their way. They like writing down these experiences in journals and keeping them close at hand for when they need a boost of motivation during trying times. But what does being thankful have to do with living a fulfilling life? INFJs, on the other hand, tend to keep track of their possessions rather than their losses. They won't feel burdened, but rather more inspired. They will be more motivated to push themselves harder and go beyond their boundaries if they keep listing the things they have instead of the ones they lack. They don't want to be unhappy. This isn't the case at all, despite the fact that it is easily disregarded as poisonous optimism. INFJs may strive hard for what they desire while still being happy and appreciative for what they have. 7. They uphold their morals. INFJs hold to their convictions and seek refuge in their moral standards while everyone else is readily persuaded by temptations. These criteria act as their roadmap for taking on their most difficult issues without getting lost or going in the wrong direction. So it should come as no surprise that INFJs are able to choose the right path when there is confusion, conflict, or disagreement. They are consistently the emotionally responsible members of a group of theatrical, egotistical, and neurotic people. Among a group of emotionally disturbed people, they are the most stable. And it's all because their unyielding moral principles have served as the main drivers of their ideas, decisions, words, and deeds. But as an INFJ, have you ever compromised your morals and fallen to the level of your adversaries? 8. They have various standards for what constitutes success and greatness. INFJs don't believe that success is about living up to everyone's standards of perfection, as do the majority of individuals. They think that success doesn't actually depend on where one ends up. It is about how individuals decide to live, and doing so involves having a purpose in life. When times are rough, people value their viewpoint much. Even now, they cherish the little things that matter. Even when they don't get their heart's wishes, they nonetheless rejoice in their connections and little successes, because they are aware of what is crucial in the long term. They consider that in order to succeed, one must feel good about their life, the choices they make, and who they are rather than just following the expectations of others. 9. They are aware of their own prejudices. The energies recognize that everyone sees the world differently, and they appreciate that. This explains why it appears to others that INFJs are usually in the lead. Compared to the majority, they appear to be smarter, more mature, more understanding. And they accept that even when 5 persons see the same occurrence, they each provide a different narrative of what transpired. They are able to come to these types of realizations at a young age, which teaches them to cease judging individuals. Until they hear other people telling their stories, they won't be aware that their own is prejudiced. From this point on, individuals feel responsible for altering their worldview in order to prevent its contradictions from having a detrimental impact on how they treat other people. Do you, as an INFJ, also think that your past experiences may affect how you see the world going forward? 10. They argue with their internal dialogue. INFJs don't offer justifications for being in a rut. They understand they aren't actually trapped. Maybe they were only persuaded to feel helpless and do nothing by their own inner voice. Everybody has this inner critic that hinders their development. INFJs, however, can fend this off better than other individuals. They learn to take control of it and not allow it get to them, even though they don't entirely ignore it. They identify that voice and pay attention to it. Then they make a list of advantages and disadvantages and note what they would do if the disadvantages on the list came true. This activity will enable INFJs to make an educated choice without becoming bogged down by all the things they can't. INFJs recognize that they are their own ship's captains. Until they learn how to navigate life on their own, no one can bring them where they need to go. Do you fess up to having total control over your daily affairs as an INFJ? Have you ever ascribed your shortcomings to someone else?